All right, thank you very much, Rich. Appreciate that. We'll be checking back with you later, I'm sure. All right, weather-wise for us, we're still tracking that storm that continues to prompt the tornado warning in Wilcox County. We've got that one moving off toward the east. This is approaching Camden. We've turned off the lightning there because there's a tremendous amount of lightning going on it, and we really can't see the storm structure. It's hard to see it, at least what we're seeing on radar. But that storm's still rotating and still capable of producing a tornado. It was located about 4 miles southwest of Yellow Bluff, or about 11 miles east of Thomasville, moving east at 35 miles per hour. And looks like there might have been a little bit of damage back in through Clark County. Billboards, signs blown down, Highway 43, Clark County and Clark Industrial Road there in Thomasville. So a little bit of damage that we know with some wind damage. Ben's got Greenville pulled up here. We're looking off toward the south and west a little bit, maybe seeing some of that storm activity. That's where we have our camera there in downtown Greenville, right there along Commerce Street. Temperature at 70, south breeze at 3, so quiet there right now, but more than likely that's going to change that storm to the west, and that's moving off north and eastward. So that may pass probably in this direction here. But there'll be more south and westward that we'll be tracking. Look at all these storms. One thing in common, they are producing a tremendous amount of lightning occurring with all of these, and they could be producing some hail in there as well, and probably strong gusty winds embedded in these thunderstorms also. All right, so that's what we have ongoing. What we could do is, if we focus back on this one, Ben, and just to see if we can get ahead of it, we might be able to, if there's any kind of debris signature, we might could catch that beforehand, and that'll kind of give us an idea if anything's really spun up on that. Haven't seen that, and more than likely it doesn't look like we've got anything there. It's just a lot of mess and nothing concrete. So we would be looking for something a little smaller, maybe a little ball on here of a debris signature, but from my vantage point, I don't see it, Ben, do you?
No, I don't, and I guess a good example of those very clear-cut debris signatures would be some of the ones we saw just on Friday night back in Mississippi with what could have been a very long track tornado moving through really the southwestern parts of Mississippi all the way to about the Alabama state line with one of those tornadoes. And very violent tornado, so hopefully we don't see anything like that here tonight.
Yeah, we don't, but the wording here is we're under a moderate risk for strong to severe storms. That is at the 4 level on the storm scale for us, so we're just shy of a high risk. We're at a moderate risk there, and Ben's got that pulled up, and you can see that swath is right through Choctaw County eastward onto central Alabama, and that's pretty much that 80 corridor off toward the south and west, US 43, and down the I-65 corridor. Seems to be where we're going to see the more intense and strongest storms this evening, and so that's kind of how that's setting up for us. And again, you see that is the 4 out of the 5, so we're way up there. We've got a red alert day here, code red day, I should say, that we have initiated for our coverage because we think these storms are going to be intense. Some of these storms that producing tornadoes could be intense tornadoes, long trackers, and so that's the possibility as we head through this evening. They'll also produce hail and damaging winds and very heavy rain. We could get rainfall amounts here as much as 2 inches per hour. So there's going to be some soaking rains, and this setup that we're in, we're going to see rain tonight, during part of the day tomorrow, and then I think it may be by Tuesday that we start to see this stuff kind of ease out of here. And then we get a couple of days probably to dry out before our next round of rain later next week. But we can talk about that later. But for now, it looks like we still have the ongoing reports of some debris down there from that storm. Let's see, reports of small debris in and around roads of Highway 43 and looks like Dummy Line Road right there and Sand Flat Road and west of the 43 down in Clark County. So that storm has done some damage. So we're watching it, and we've got this storm working through Wilcox County right now, and that's going to be impacting you folks in Camden here very shortly as that's approaching from the south and west. A lot of activity back in through Mississippi as well, eastern Mississippi, and that's heading eastward. We've got Demopolis being impacted by some of these storms. We've got our camera back up in Demopolis, so we'll be able to track some of those and look at them a little closer. So we're excited about that, having the camera back up in Demopolis with our Health Services Camera Network. All right, so just looking around, the overall idea here is for storms to move from the southwest, north, and eastward. And it's just going to be the conveyor belt of these things happening as we head through this evening. A lot of these training through our area. So everybody's going to have to be weather aware. Right now, it looks like we're kind of quiet. We're going to, for the most part, from Greenville, Brantley, Andalusia, Troy, in through Union Springs. Our setup right now, the folks that need to be alert, Demopolis, Marengo County, definitely Perry County, in around Marion, Dallas County, Wilcox County for certain, Autauga, Lowndes, Montgomery, Elmore, and also Tallapoosa County. This is kind of where we're being picked on. Coosa County as well, Chilton also, that we had the morning round of storms, and now we've got this round coming through this evening. All right. What do we got, Ben? Anything new on our tornado warning?
I think our tornado warning, that continues until 7 o'clock officially, so that should be expiring in a couple of hours. But I imagine they're probably going to continue with some sort of downstream warning. I guess that kind of gets into a gray area there, though, because right now that tornado warning is pretty much for the central parts of Wilcox County, and then any further north and east, Dallas County, including the city of Selma, and also Lowndes County, including the city of Lounsboro, Whitehall. Those are both in the Birmingham forecast office. Their county warning area, so they would be issuing tornado warnings for those two counties. So we'll see what happens. This storm is continuing towards the east at 35 miles per hour, now working its way into the central parts of Wilcox County. Our active tornado warning here for folks in Wilcox County. We certainly urge you to be in your tornado safe place, certainly anywhere from just to the south and east of Pine Hill. Seems like the worst of the storm is passed to the southeast of Pine Hill now, but certainly points to the south and west of Camden, including the city of Camden. We might be able to pick up some of those additional towns if we take it in a little bit closer here. Just southwest of Camden, where we would suspect there might be a tornado on the ground with this storm. But you can see those bolts on your screen, just southwest of Camden mainly. Those are lightning strikes, cloud-to-ground lightning strikes over the past 15 minutes, so there's a tremendous amount of those. You can see some of the communities here that are included within that tornado warning polygon for Wilcox County. I think we just did have a new tornado warning being issued, yeah. So this is coming out of the Mobile Forecast Office. Tornado warning, radar-indicated rotation, and also the potential for hail, 1.25 inches, I believe that's ping-pong ball size. That'll be for Wilcox County until 7:45 this evening. So we've got this tornado warning extended now for an extra 45 minutes. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located 4 miles to the south of Yellow Bluff, 11 miles southwest of Camden, and moving east at 35 miles per hour. So this storm about 10-ish miles or so now to the southwest of Camden, and an eastward motion to the storm at about 35. So we can try drawing a track on there. And right now we're looking at reflectivity, so that's showing the intense rainfall activity we've got there in Wilcox County. But let me go to our velocity product. It now seems like that velocity signature is getting a little bit better. And again, that's something that we pointed out as this storm continues a little bit more eastward and eventually northeastward, that it'll be getting closer and closer to the Birmingham radar site. So you're kind of seeing some of those bright blues up against some of those areas of red. So there's certainly some circulation here. Even if that's not a tornado on the ground, that could be wall cloud, mesocyclone there, circulation in the storm. The part of the storm we would suspect could be producing a tornado. So again, let me draw a track on that. We'll pause this.
The reflectivity still looks very healthy with that. Probably got a lot of hail in it, and the velocity is starting to come in line as it gets closer to that radar beam. So, yeah, we've got a storm that's still capable of producing a tornado. There's Camden right there, so that's approaching you folks. You got Pebble Hill also. That storm just passing through Yellow Bluff now, just right between there and Coy. And as it does that, we've got circulation here that could be spawning up a tornado. Definitely some wind damage there that's quite strong with it. So everybody's got to be in your safe place. That's Shawnee and also Pebble Hill being approached by that. I got 7:01 right now, so this is not stuff you set your watch to, but it kind of gives you an idea of the how close these things will be approaching your area. So around 7:27 there and around Shawnee. All right, and then there's Pebble Hill, and then you've got Titan off toward the east of that, and it looks like Rosebud also just east of that.
And Camden just to the northeast there, Pebble Hill.
Oh yeah,
so
just hidden underneath there. So there you got
7:15, if not sooner. That tornadic circulation's near Camden.
And it looks like the update on that is the tornado warning for Wilcox County. While the rotation is broad, it's is located very close to the boundary and could easily help to quickly produce a tornado. So at the very least, damaging winds, large hail is expected, and given the reports that they had back in Thomasville. So kind of going on the history there, that this storm is definitely capable of producing tornado, or at least wind damage, all right? So that's our ongoing tornado. Again, Camden, and it looks like this got extended too. So we got a new polygon. So
That's right.
We picked up some new areas there as well. So we got a lot of Alabama 10, and then we've got looks like what's going to be 21, Alabama 21 as well. So that's approaching Camden. Yeah, the circulation continues to look pretty decent there for it. Brandenburg, Pineapple going to be impacted by that. Okay. So get in your safe place, ride this thing out. It is still a storm that is capable of spinning up a tornado. All right, let's look area-wide, kind of anything else that might be threatening across the area.
Before I do that, I do
okay.
want to put one more lightning query on this, just to see the amounts of lightning this storm's producing here in Wilcox County. It's been over 500 in a 15-minute span before. Still up around that number, between 400 and 500 strikes of lightning every 15 minutes, and that's cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. So this is really going to be making some noise on its way through Wilcox County through 7:45 while this tornado warning's active. Already lighting up the sky, certainly for Camden and points just south and west of that in Wilcox County. So lightning, that is a hazard in any thunderstorm. Doesn't have to be a severe thunderstorm warning, doesn't have to be a tornado warning. Anytime there's thunder, when you hear thunder roar, or when thunder roars, head indoors, because lightning, of course, can be very dangerous as well. Being inside a sturdy building will typically protect you from that, or a vehicle as well. Great way to stay safe from lightning inside of a vehicle. But with an active tornado warning, of course, in Wilcox County, vehicle not the place you want to be. We're hoping that folks in Wilcox County, certainly central parts of the county, up to about Camden, points east of that, are in a sturdy, well-built building right now, not a manufactured home.
Yeah, let's point that out again. We never can not emphasize that enough, and that is one of those nights. We have a tornado watch, in effect, and the wording on that is some of these storms that could spin up some tornadoes could be intense tornadoes. So you want to have a sturdier place to go to tonight and ride these storms out with tornado warnings. You want to be in a safer place, neighbor's house, family, friends, whoever you've already set that up with. Because you live in the deep south. You know, we're going to deal with these things. There's no way. This is a seasonal thing for us, which seems like it's expanded, and it starts up in late October and goes all the way to May. But you got to have a place to go and keep your family safe. So think about that. All right. So that tornado warning remains in effect. Did you have something, Ben?
I was going to say, I mean, that's just your classic southeastern supercell thunderstorm right there. It's discrete. It's out on its own. You can just see from the reflectivity product there how it's just kind of circulating around, maybe even starting to right turn a little bit. We're just kind of seeing this storm, I think, mature a little bit and maybe continue to intensify. So we'll definitely have to be keeping a close eye on this one.
Yeah, and on that east movement, if it does, let's give a heads up for parts of Butler County as well, northwestern Butler County. We'll watch that. Forest Home, not included in the polygon, but that storm just west of you folks. And so you got to keep an eye on that. It is approaching. Carlinville, also Braggs may be impacted by that, and this will eventually get up into southern Lowndes County and also western Butler County. So we're watching that storm. It's a tornado-warned storm, so we're giving you the heads up there in sections of western Butler County and also southern Lowndes County as well. Pretty intense storms out there, and it looks like we're going to have a long event where these storms are going to be moving through here during the evening and overnight hours. Already getting word of some school delays out there, and you can double check this with your school. I know they send out texts and things like that, but I'm in Elmore County, maybe delayed till 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. That is the Elmore County school system, so keep that in mind. You'll want to double check that with whoever alerts you with that, but that's the word I'm getting here with the delay tomorrow for Elmore County around 9 a.m. Okay, so the overall setup is just look at what we still got to deal with out here toward East Alabama, actually Mississippi, and these are going to move into West Alabama. Numerous severe thunderstorm warnings up along that, so that may be just a setup there for us. But any of these, it looks like maybe some isolated ones like we've been tracking here in Wilcox County. These things can spin up some tornadoes. They've got everything to work with on their own. They can just take over the environment there or use what they have full access to it. And so these individual cells are the one we really got to watch. Got a lot of them clustered up here that are producing heavy rain and lightning and also probably some damaging winds. But for right now, our greatest concern is the storm that's moving through Wilcox County at the moment. It continues to prompt a tornado warning, and there is a significant amount of lightning occurring with that storm as well. Okay, let's just start up here if we could, Ben, and work from Tallapoosa County southward, and then we'll come into the Wilcox County storm here very shortly. But we're just looking at storms. These are up toward Chambers County, moved out of Tallapoosa County, and it looks like strong storms just southwest of Alexander City, just passing through Rockford, right there along 231, and also the 22, Alabama 22. And got a lot of, looks like a pretty decent cluster of storms on Highway 14s between Wetumpka and Tallahassee. So that's going to move northeastward. You folks up in Burlington, you're going to get some heavy rain. Going to get a lot of lightning there as well approaching you. And that's up around Eclectic as well. So now we're getting into eastern Elmore County. Got a pretty intense storm here that's producing very heavy rain, lightning. And so that'll be along Alabama 14 from Claude over toward Burlington to Tallahassee. Very heavy downpours, gusty winds, and possibly some hail in there as well. So heads up, no severe thunderstorm warning out for it, but that's a pretty intense storm. That's the Redland area as well. So you folks know what I'm talking about. That one's really ramped up and pretty intense at the moment. All right, so we'll go southward, and there you go, Redland Elementary School, passing right over that at the moment. All right, so pull it on a little farther southward. It becomes moderate to heavy rain. Things are settled down here in the city of Montgomery. Got more storms here and through Perry County. Haven't talked much about here, but these are just east of Marion.
New severe thunderstorm warning for Marengo County.
Right there. All right, so just got that storm right there ramped up just west of Linden, in between there and Demopolis along US 43. And so we can watch that one. We may even have a camera view of that. I think Ben's pulling that around, so we may see it. But that's moving from the southwest, kind of north and eastward. That's heading up toward Uniontown. And then, so that's a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect there. So that storm probably capable of producing some damage and some hail in there also. So again, that's right there along US 43 between Linden and Demopolis. New severe thunderstorm warning here, and that includes that all heads on up into almost to the Perry County line also. All right, so that's what we have here at the moment. Still keeping an eye on storms southward. You can't help but notice the one. Well, look at that buzzard right there. Look at this guy. He's just riding that storm out. He's like, it's not even impacting him. I mean, they love this tower, but Ben's got this pointing out there toward that storm along US 43. And that's Demopolis, but he's changing that. But I don't even think the observation's still working there in Demopolis. I've called over there to the local FBO to get that fixed, but we'll see how that goes. But the observation there from Demopolis has been down for a while. If you have more pull over there, call somebody. They usually fix that thing and get it up, but it's down for now, so we don't have the observation coming from the airport there.
Kind of seems like our camera is not quite in the same spot it used to be.
We did move it. We had to move it just a little bit. The camera was down for quite a while. It's just a lightning magnet. And so we tried to move it and do some things to limit that. These are buzzards. They love this tower. But anyway, that's looking off toward the west, all right? Let's go look at, let's go back to Wilcox County. Let's keep an eye on that storm because I don't see a whole lot going on right there. Kind of shooting between that anyway. Here's Wilcox County, tremendous amount of lightning ongoing. Let's see, for you folks in Camden, that storm right on you now. So yeah, there you go, Ben. He's got the lightning taken off there because it's got just tremendous amount of lightning ongoing. So you got to be in your safe place right there in Camden. You've got that storm moving through there, and they are, it's pretty, yeah, there's the at least velocity on that. And yeah, you can kind of see the circulation. It's right on the fringes. It seems like we're pulling from Birmingham there, maybe?
Yeah, that's Birmingham.
Yeah. I wonder if there's, yeah, it's just, we're right out there on the fringes of that, but we know our circulation's right in through here, and it may be offset just a little bit. That is definitely between Camden And looks like along Alabama 265 is going to be passing right through there. So south side of Camden and along Alabama 41, you got to be in your safe place. Let's see if we pull up anybody else right in through there, some landmarks in around Camden. There you go. Pebble Hill, Shawnee is going to be impacted by this storm. And it looks like, what is that, Fatama?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Fatama.
And maybe it's just amazing how some of these little towns pop up that you don't see often on there, but the software just pulls them up. But you folks right there in Fatama, and also you're looking at Pebble Hill, just passing right there through you. For you, Darlington will be impacted, Watsonville also, and that looks like State Route 265 corridor going to be impacted by this storm. So our circulation is right in through here. A little hard to see, a little messy on the velocity data, but it is there. We see the circulation, and it looks like the Weather Service still maintaining that. Rotation is crossing Highway 41 south of Camden. All right. So here we go. And this is Highway 41, so the circulation right in through here. So I think basically between Pebble Hill and Camden is where maybe and there you go. You can kind of see that. Let's see if we can pull up a CC or debris signature. If we've got anything there, maybe we can stay ahead of that and catch it if we do, but I just don't see it. All right, so nothing showing up on there. And all right, so we'll pull it back. Let's go back into, it looks like it's got a notch on it. When you look at the reflectivity on that, you can see kind of an inflow notch on there. The setup is there. Probably got some intense hail here also. But that's what we're looking at. You get the hook here. And so this storm's going to be here watching. I mean, it's definitely indicative of what could spin up a tornado. So, again, we suggest everybody stays in their safe place. That's in Camden. You folks got to be in your, let's say, on down the road. Bragg's going to be impacted by that. And that's going to get up in the northwest corner of Butler County as well. So Forest Homes, you folks got to watch that one. It's just west of you, spinning around there. Got a lot of lightning coming your way. Power outages, definitely a possibility with that. So make sure you got multiple ways to receive warnings with this as it comes through. All right, so that's what we're kind of keeping an eye on. What else we got? We got getting a report there of quarter to ping pong ball size hail likely moving near Camden, Wilcox County. Check out that hail tracker, or at least current hail on that. Maybe we can kind of get an idea of what that looks like and where it is and see if the storm's intensifying. There you go. Got a little bit of a
hail core there.
Right there. And so it's matching up. I mean, this is an intense storm. It's all by itself, supercell out there, just kind of meandering along. Our software is suggesting golf ball size hail with that. And so no doubt we've got a severe storm. We're getting reports of ping pong size hail, golf ball pretty close in there in size. So that is just south of Camden. And so intense storm here, moving toward that Alabama 265, just south of Camden. It's going to cross over that, and it's going to head on eastward, and that will get it along. It looks like travel along, or mainly just south of Alabama 28, and cross over Alabama 21 as well, and maybe very close to Pineapple or just to the north of Pineapple. So that's the hail content with the tracker there. What else we got? All right, so I still look like the reflectivity still looks like a pretty decent signature with that storm. It's just going to live and breathe out there on its own with the environment, because it's not competing with anything. Everything north of there is kind of training, and those are behaving as severe thunderstorm warnings, mainly north of there. But we'll need to keep an eye on that one just south of Demopolis and right there between Linden and Demopolis.
It's got a pretty good storm structure on it, too.
There it goes. Just triggered.
Tornado warning, yeah.
Yeah, so I was looking at that. That looked like that was trying to get together. So what do we got? The reading on that is going to be, that's coming out of Birmingham. I don't have them pulled. Let's see. Let me see if I can get that. I'll try to pull that up real quick. That's going to be a tornado warning there for, actually I can just do this on my iPad.
Now I can get the particulars. Hold on. Radar indicated rotation for Halem and Ringo counties until 8:15 this evening. So this tornado warning is going to go on unless it's canceled early for almost an hour from now. a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over Chickasaw State Park near Linden, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour.
All right, so a new tornado warning there. Seek shelter, and that's going to be for you folks right there south of Demopolis. It's going to be heading up toward just north of Linden. It looks like that's where our circulation is. And so this is going to be areas along US 43, and then we'll probably pick up some more. That'll eventually come up toward US 80 between Uniontown and Demopolis, but it's kind of right out here. Well, there's Dayton. We may pick up some other communities. There you go, Old Spring Hill, Prairieville. You'll be in Providence, just pass right over that, or very close. We're looking at a broader circulation, but definitely the reflectivity, I just looked at it. It's got a hook on it, and probably got some hail in there as well.
Speaking of hook, there's Pinhook, located to the west of Providence, which was one location actually hit by one of the stronger tornadoes back on April 27th of 2011. An EF2 tornado moved through there.
All right, yeah, and so right now, this is where we're over Marengo County. Got a storm here that is capable of producing a tornado, and a tornado warning has been issued for that, and that storm moving off toward the east at about 35 miles per hour. And we're looking at that storm. So we got 2 active tornado warnings at the moment. We still have our Wilcox County storm, and that is passing just south of Camden. And now we have this new storm that's capable of producing a tornado right there over Providence, just passed through Pinhook. And now we're going to be impacted places like Old Spring Hill, Fonsdale, and we're looking at the US 80 corridor. So if you live from Prairieville, Fonsdale, on over toward Uniontown, you need to be in your safe place. The storm's approaching and moving toward the east at about 40 miles per hour. So there's Galleon, there's Prairieville, got 739, 742, all right? And we're sitting here at 718. So everybody get in your safe place as that storm is moving through there as it works through our area. All right, so that is the impact at the moment. All right, Ben, what about the storm down in Wilcox County?
Yeah, let's take another look at that because, I mean, structure-wise, let me go back to reflectivity as well. So the structure of this storm here in northern Marengo County certainly improving, and you can see that even better once I put on the nearest radar site only. Certainly has a little hook effect there. Lightning seems to be increasing. Maybe the storm has even kind of turned towards the right a little bit as well, kind of splitting off from some of that activity that it was connected to, I suppose, for lack of a better term, in Sumter County. So kind of right turning, becoming a bit more discreet. But you compare that storm in northern Marengo County to what we're dealing with in Wilcox County, and you can just kind of see the difference in intensity there. The Wilcox County storm, much larger, very impressive storm structure, and just producing a tremendous amount of lightning as well. That storm's still moving towards the east or just north of east at about 30 to 35 miles per hour in Wilcox County. And lightning, that has certainly been a risk with any of the thunderstorms we've had moving across our area anytime since about late last night. And wow, look at that, just in that little box that I drew around Wilcox County. Over 600, close to 700 strikes of lightning just within the last 15 minutes. And that's cloud-to-ground lightning strikes there, so a tremendous amount of lightning.
Wow, look at that, over 600, approaching 700.
Yeah, and let me turn lightning off, and then we can go back to the nearest reflectivity side as well, so you can just kind of see the storm structure on this. I mean, it's impressive.
All right, so we've got 2 storms out there that are capable of producing tornadoes. We've had damage backing through Clark County, although it hasn't been, seems like significant back around Thomasville, but some things blown around, some trees blown down. But that storm now moving through Wilcox County and around Camden, Pineapple, heading eastward. That storm's also looks like some of that will get up into the southern half of Dallas County and then eventually into western Lowndes and probably northwestern Butler County as well. So a heads up for you folks in these areas as the storm is moving through there. And then the other storm of concern is also the new tornado warning that we have for Marengo County, and that heads northward. And that's going to be passing just south of Demopolis. So Demopolis, not included in the polygon, but that's south of you from Linden. But it looks like over toward Uniontown will be impacted by that storm. And again, this is radar indicated storm capable of producing a tornado. So a couple of these, 2 on the map now that are going to be capable of producing tornadoes. So that's the setup for us as we have the tornado watch in effect for pretty much our entire area until 1 a.m. So numerous storms are going to be moving through here that will be tracking from the southwest, north, and eastward. All right, so that's kind of the setup here for us. Main threats, definitely the city of Camden here, and then also places in southern Dallas County and eastern Wilcox County here very shortly with those storms. Oh, there is your setup or your actually velocity on that, and it looks like we've got.
It's a rotating thunderstorm.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Maybe what you would see is a little broader, but we're still way out here with the beam. It's shooting way up into the sky, but if these were a little bit closer together, but there's broad rotation in there, but enough to where this thing's been rotating, and so a tornado warning remains in effect with that as it works through eastern Wilcox County. All right, so on that's going to take it up. And come back down. That'll be
getting ready to cross Alabama 265.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. There's some pretty decent sized hail falling in around Camden right now. Looks like the core of that is you're going to be on the hail side of that, and yeah, there you go. From Pebble Hill up toward, and that's golf ball size hail. So that's pretty large. Severe hail is when that starts. It's 1 inch in diameter, so you're getting up there. Golf ball size hail, so that's some pretty large hail coming down with that thunderstorm as it's moving through there. All right, so it's a hail producer, also could produce some damaging winds, maybe tornadic situation there as well. So looks like Pebble Hill, you get folks still in your safe place. Shawnee, Darlington, that storm's approaching, and it's kind of got that southwest to northeast movement there a little bit. So anywhere along Alabama 265 and also Alabama 10 is going to be crossing right through there. Just to the east of Camden is where our circulation is, but heavy, probably some hail in there occurring right there in the Camden area. Okay, so we've got the two storms, and we'll just bounce back between both of those. We'll take a look at the Marengo County storm. It continues to be a threat. It's producing a tornado warning there for it as well. And we can look at that. That's just passing south of Demopolis, and that's going to be crossing over US 80 here very shortly, right there at 25, Alabama 25. So just passing through Old Spring now, and there's Providence. So looks like the tail end here where we would have our circulation is going to be right in through here between Providence and Old Spring Hill, right there along US 43. So if you live in these areas, hopefully you're still in your safe place. That storm is capable of producing a tornado. Okay, let's see what else we've got here as just looking for some other circulations. There's some other circulations north of here. Those are on up toward Moundville, just outside of our area, but we got a lot of stuff coming out of Mississippi that's going to be marching eastward, so that'll extend this coverage for quite a while, Ben.
Yeah, let's take a look at that, actually. I'll pull it out to a statewide view. We're still looking at velocity here, so let me go over to our SAT-RAD loop, and we can see all that activity. Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of it. We're glowing back the last 6 hours here, so let's just do the last 1 or 2 hours or so and just kind of see how this activity is kind of evolving towards the east. And I know a lot of the higher resolution models that we've been looking at have kind of ultimately congealed a lot of this rain and storm activity marching out of Mississippi and into Alabama during the course of the evening, and maybe even parts of the overnight hours tonight beyond midnight into one big cluster of storms. And so ultimately, while we have some of these more individual storms ongoing right now, we might just see these storms kind of congeal into one big cluster that might produce more widespread damaging straight line winds across our area. So that's going to be a threat as well. Of course, you don't need tornadic winds to cause some damage anytime you get one of these more significant severe weather setups like we've got today, where through tonight we've got a moderate level 4 out of 5 severe risk in west central Alabama, at least eastward to about Interstate 65. You get into severe weather setups like that, and these storms are often capable of producing straight line winds well above 60 miles per hour, sometimes 70, 80, even 90 miles per hour. I do recall one time back in 2020 or so down in Pike County, Troy, had a straight line wind event there where the severe thunderstorm particulars Severe thunderstorm warning particulars were for straight line winds of around 95 miles per hour. That was either the Easter Sunday or Palm Sunday events back in 2020. So, yeah, sometimes these straight line winds can be very destructive as well. And so that could be something that we're looking out for later on this evening and overnight tonight as some of these big-time thunderstorms now working pretty much to the Mississippi-Alabama state line near Meridian, Mississippi. You can see it on the map there. They continue to work eastward, congeal into a big cluster, and could produce some strong straight-line winds.
All right, so 2 tornado warnings active, and we're looking at basically Marengo County. We got a storm there, and we also have the one in Wilcox County. That Wilcox County storm, the strongest circulation is just southeast of Camden and crossing over Highway 10 near or east of Highway 28 split. All right, so if that rings a bell with you, you need to be in your safe place as that storm is cruising through there. The reflectivity looks like some things got a little messy there, but the circulation seems to be still there with this storm. And then there's your 2 tornado warnings that are impacted here, or at least kind of on their own. These are some supercells moving from the kind of the south and west off toward the east, maybe a little bit of a northeast jog to that as well. And both of these are radar indicated, capable of producing tornadoes. And it looks like with all this lightning that's occurring with these storms, they're going to be capable of producing power outages. So everybody needs to make sure you got your phones charged up and flashlight and some things, with tornado warnings, and if these things do spin up tornadoes, other things that you got to have is you got to know where you're going to go, safe places, and that is the lowest floor, many walls between you and the outside as possible, a hallway, a bathroom in the hallway, even there, with the tornado type situations, especially these intense ones. Helmets are best to have on, football helmets, bike helmets, those help. We've back in the old days, nobody really talked about that kind of stuff, but you got to think head injuries are a big problem when it comes to when tornadoes are occurring and damage is occurring. And so you got to protect your head and your feet. So make sure everybody has good shoes on. If you're in one of these polygons, you make sure that you're all geared up and ready for that as the storm comes through your area. Because with debris and damage and things like that, you don't want to be in your house shoes. You want to be in good shoes that you could walk out the front door even if that's possible. All right, so there's our circulation right there, and that is just southeast of Camden. There's Shawnee. And then that's heading over toward Darlington, Rosebud. You folks got to be in your safe place. You've got a circulating storm here that is capable of producing a tornado. It's had a long life here. This thing goes way back into southwest Alabama. It's done some damage back in around Clark County, and now the circulation is still ongoing. And that looks like it's just going to carry it eastward right there along Alabama 28 and 10. And then you've got 21 there as well, okay? And this is getting into eastern Wilcox County. All right, so that's kind of the setup there for us. All right, so we got meteorologist Ben Lang here. We got Kevin Raymer joined our staff. This is kind of his first weekend here. He's off camera here, but he is mic'd up. Kevin, is your microphone hot? It's not. Okay, we don't have you mic'd up yet or anything. Okay, so we'll get that on in a little bit. But he's with us as well. And he'll be joining us for weekends and various other things here on our staff. So we'll check in with him in just a little bit. He's monitoring the situation off camera as well. So we got the team here, Ben, myself, and Kevin. All right, so let's look at it from a broader perspective, unless you see something else there, Ben. I mean,
there is a new severe thunderstorm warning now, so that was something I was curious about what the Birmingham forecast office was going to do. But we've now got for southwestern Lowndes County and southern Dallas County, it's a new severe thunderstorm warning that'll go until 8:30 this evening, so for another hour here, as that powerful storm in Wilcox County continues northeastward into those areas, capable of straight-line winds up to 60 miles per hour and hail up to quarter size. So I guess the good news here is that Birmingham has opted for a severe thunderstorm warning rather than a tornado warning.
So you see what's happening there is, as Ben's pointed out, we've got 2 weather offices here. One's handing off this storm to another. And so Mobile has this as a tornado warning, but Birmingham's looking at this storm going, okay, it's going to come into our counties, and we're going to go with a severe thunderstorm warning with it. we don't see the criteria just there as that moves into our counties that we keep a tornado warning going. But it is a rotating storm. So, and the thing is, there is always the small print that says, yes, we can update that. And sometimes within severe thunderstorm warnings, there's usually some small print in there. Severe thunderstorms can sometimes spin up and produce a tornado, even though you've got a severe thunderstorm warning there, not a tornado warning. So, but anyway, bottom line here is we got a rotating storm that's going to come up into southern. Looks like we've got this Lowndes County, southern Dallas County, and that will head up toward Braggs. All right, so it looks like it's rotating there. If I look at that, I think that's going to pass a little farther northwest of Forest Homes, at least that circulation. So that will pretty much bypass at least most of that northwestern Butler County. That'll head on up toward. Looks like Harlowville will be impacted by that, and that's going to be on up toward State Route 89. Do you get a new one?
No, that's just a continuation of the tornado warning or an update to the polygon for Wilcox County there. You can see it flashing right there behind you. It's just updating that polygon to kind of trim off the back edge. So Camden, good news for Camden, at least western parts of town, just southeast of Camden locations there, still included in that tornado warning polygon. But the tornadic circulation here is starting to pass to the east of Camden.
All right, let's look at our Marengo County storm. Looking at the velocity on that one, and it looks a little messy. But
Looks that way to me.
Even on the reflectivity, it looks a little messy as well. So not as impressive from the look of that. Are we looking at that from Birmingham?
We are.
All right, so that storm passed well south and east of Demopolis, so no factor for you folks. That is, looks like places like Fonsdale, Uniontown, kind of west of you, but it will cross over the US 80 corridor, and it looks like it's doing that right now. So this circulation, what there is of it, is going to be east of Demopolis along the US 80 corridor over toward Uniontown, and then this will head on up. It looks like Alabama 25 up toward New Bern will be impacted by this storm. So giving you folks a heads up, looks like it passed just north of Dayton, and it's going to be more closely right over that US 80 corridor there in Marengo County, and then that heads on up and toward, let's say, Perry County here very shortly. All right. So let's look at the broader picture. What else we got, Ben? Let's go back to reflectivity, if we could.
There's now an active severe thunderstorm warning for Coosa County, eastern Coosa County, so that storm's getting pretty close to the Tallapoosa County line. Alexander City may be in the path of that storm.
Let's go up there and take a look at it, see if it's a hailer, more than likely, on that. So there you go, just passed through Rockford at the moment. And, yeah, still ongoing there at Rockford at 231. And then Goodwater, there's Highway 9 right there. And then a lot of that activity passing through Alexander City. So the warning doesn't cover Alexander City, but pretty intense lightning there just to the west of town. And looks like a pretty intense areas of storms. A lot of these storms out there. There you go. There's a little bit of a hell core with that, just east of Rockford, between there and Alexander City. That's Alabama 22 that runs right through there. So a little bit of walnut-sized hail that's occurring there. And that storm peaked. It looked like it was a little more intense just south of Rockford, and then it's kind of weakened a little bit, so it's played itself out.
Lots of hail cores, though, moving across our area. And they really have been since late last night. I know you were here overnight, Shane, and tracking a lot of those storms. I woke up to see, 50 texts from the NWS alert about severe thunderstorm warnings overnight tonight. Just tremendous hail producers, and seemed like, I know when I was going to bed around 2, 3 in the morning, we just had one of those hail-producing storms after another up around Tallapoosa County, the Lake Martin area, just some very large hail being produced by some of these storms. And you can see it from an area-wide perspective, how we've got all these little white to blue to almost purple splotches just kind of working across our area, just individual hail cores from all of these storms. And of course, you can see those individual storms on reflectivity here as well. Besides potentially producing some small to large size hail, they are producing tremendous amounts of lightning. And of course, we've been pointing it out because it's what triggered our wall-to-wall severe weather coverage here. It's that supercell thunderstorm, discrete, in eastern Wilcox County now. That one has just continued to really produce a tremendous amount of lightning. We'll take a closer look at that, and we can draw a little box around it as well and put a lightning counter on that. At one point, I know we did it maybe 15 to 20 minutes ago, but when we put on a lightning box on it, it was producing, I think, close to 700 strikes of lightning every 15 minutes or so, still up around 400. So prolific lightning producer here still, and potentially tornadic supercell here as well. It certainly has the structure, discrete supercell thunderstorm, high precipitation rather, supercell here. Classic shape to it, where it's just kind of this big, large blob, and then on the tail end of it now, which would be just towards the south and east of Camden, that's often the tornadic part of these types of storms, and it certainly has had a pretty significant velocity signature on it the last recent few scans, and I think that is a sweeping velocity here. That seems to be a strange little radar artifact there. So if we take it back just a little bit, let me actually loop this a little bit. Little radar artifact there at the end, but you can kind of see it earlier on in that lapse. Certainly as it passed just to the south and southeast and ultimately east of Camden, just a little area that's just kind of circulating around in there. So that's the area that we're going to have to continue to watch. But as I draw our severe polygons here, you can see this active tornado warning that continues for northeastern Wilcox County. That's until 7:45 this evening. So that warning only goes for another 8 minutes, and probably by about 7:45, this circulating part of the storm here is going to be working across Alabama 21 and then likely into southeastern Dallas County. So you can see there where the National Weather Service office in Birmingham has drawn that yellow to orange polygon. That indicates a severe thunderstorm warning. This storm is still capable of producing hail, maybe quarter size, 1 inch diameter size or larger as it works into southern Dallas County, maybe straight line wind gusts up to about 60 miles per hour as well. So certainly a very impressive storm. We'll look at it again on reflectivity. Lightning is activated.
Wow,
again,
yeah.
Producing tons and tons of that.
Yeah, no doubt.
There's a new tornado warning for Choctaw County, Alabama, southwestern Alabama.
All right, so yeah, these storms going to keep coming at us from the south and west. There you go, just outside of our area, but
That's embedded in that huge cluster there.
Yeah, and that may be what we get into. You just kind of see what might be happening there. Is might be getting a kind of this line. Look how that all kind of congealed right there as it got into Alabama, and then all of a sudden you get spin ups inside of that. And that's what can happen a lot of times. You get these pushing lines, squall line type events, they kind of merge, and then within that, you get a spin-up tornado. So that was the possibility as well. Some discrete cells, which we're watching, a couple of those, and then the ones that develop along the line as well. So that's kind of the setup for us now. Tornado warning for Choctaw County, strengthening circulation near Melvin. All right, so we're watching that. Let's go back out. Let's kind of set the overall view here in the picture as we're on all of our coverage here on CBS 8 and ABC 32, and also on the CW here. We've got our coverage ongoing. Severe weather event here tonight where we're going to be dealing with storms that are going to be moving through our area. Some of these strong to severe, maybe even tornadic. We're seeing evidence of that. The verbiage was maybe some intense tornadoes. We haven't seen that verified just yet. Let's hope not. But the potential is there. We're now in that window of where it is dark, and so we were expecting these storms to kind of intensify a little bit. And yes, we are seeing that. We've had these two lone cells, the Wilcox tornado storm, tornadic warning storm, and also the Marengo County storm, which now it looks like they've downgraded that to just a severe thunderstorm warning, Ben?
Looks that way, yeah.
Right.
No longer seeing a tornado warning there.
Yeah,
They canceled it at 7:36, so about 4 minutes ago.
Okay, all right. So we caught up with that one. And so all this activity moving from west to east, and so it's just going to be a long night of watching these storms and keeping an eye on them. Meteorologist Rich Thomas over in the Blue Water Studios is watching these storms with us as well. Rich, you got any new updates from your vantage point?
Well, we do have one tornado warning left in West Alabama. That's the Choctaw, and we do have 5 severe thunderstorm warnings. It is this warned storm, though, that is affecting Dallas and Lowndes County that has to be watched farther down the line. For instance, the next county over would be Montgomery County. So if you live here in the metro, we'll be watching that very carefully because this supercell thunderstorm has had a history of very large hail and also occasional spin-ups. Right now, there's no circulation that is particularly worrisome. By the way, if you are in an area where there is no storm right now and you want to protect your car, maybe you have a garage or some sort of eave or something to put your car under tonight, that might be a good idea because we're going to have several storms with several reports of large hail tonight. So it might be, if you can, without, getting out in the storm. And by the way, be ready to go into your safe place tonight. We always talk about helmets. Helmets are a good thing. Wear shoes when you go to your safe place. So be ready, and we're going to be here. It's going to be a long-term event and go for the rest of the night. But once again, 1 tornado warning at the moment, and it's a large one, and 5 severe thunderstorm warnings. Pretty busy so far, Shane.
Appreciate that, Rich. Ben, if we could only get Rich to put that helmet on there and demonstrate how that works out, maybe we'll try.
I might be inclined to pay money to see that.
We'll try that next time. But it is a good idea. That is good advice, as Rich was showing. Baseball helmets, football helmets. Put the chin strap on there, and you're good to go. Get the kids in those. It's just we live in a part of the country where, you got to take precautions like that and protect your family best you can. And putting helmets on and good shoes and following your tips, or at least a safety plan. And again, we always point out basements are best, but not everybody has one. So lowest floor of your home, between as far away from windows as possible, as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And manufactured homes, not a good idea to be in those tonight with these storms moving through. It's nighttime event, and so these storms can spin up quickly, and you want to be in a sturdier place, safer place tonight. All right. So what do we got here? Ben's got Futurecast pulled up. Looking at trying to see what's going ahead, Ben?
Yeah, just kind of how these storms are expected to ultimately form into a big cluster. One thing I'm also doing here is adjusting the data time a little bit so we can get a good view of this. So that'll be ending that, sending that to custom plus 3 days. And there we go. That should work. All right, so we're taking it from about 6 o'clock this evening. I think that Futurecast picked up pretty well. And now we're tracking almost in real time. Yeah, this is very close, I think, to what we're watching happening here. You can see that big congealing cluster here in the western parts of Alabama, and we can see how that's going to gradually be pushing eastward towards about Interstate 65 by about maybe 9, 10, 11 o'clock this evening. Again, these storms might be very intense at that time as they're crossing over Interstate 65, capable of straight-line wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour, at least line-embedded tornadoes, but maybe some stronger tornadic circulations as well, where you get some cases of EF2 or greater strength tornadoes. That's not out of the question through this evening. And also these storms could continue to produce large hail as well. So this big cluster of storms continues eastward. We're likely still dealing with maybe strong and severe storms through midnight tonight. And then we're going beyond midnight and certainly locations along and maybe to the north of Highway 80 still dealing with storms. These, again, could still be producing straight-line winds, large hail, embedded tornadoes, and here we are 4 or 5 o'clock Monday morning. We've still got storms that might be strong and severe working across some of our northern communities. And maybe, I think this is going to be kind of as that front is finally starting to work southward through our area. So we might see a little line of storms develop here early Monday morning. At least a low-end severe risk still with these, even as they push into the southeastern part of the state, midday, early Monday afternoon. So, I mean, this could just continue to be an ongoing severe threat here, not only for the rest of Sunday evening, but for Sunday nights, Monday morning, and possibly even early Monday afternoon. Of course, Futurecast here is still showing around 2, 3 o'clock Monday afternoon. We've still got some storms tracking across Covington County. It's something that we joke about sometimes, but the Covington County curse. Covington County just seems to be notorious for spawning tornadic storms, or we get a tornado warning issued for Covington County. So that could be something that we're watching all the way through Monday afternoon before these storms finally push to our south. We could be looking at some very warm temperatures around 6 o'clock Monday evening, still maybe in the lower 70s for a lot of locations, or even mid and upper 70s is what Futurecast was showing there, although we do expect temperatures to ultimately cool down a bit as we head into Tuesday, and there's actually a chance that we see a little bit more rain and storm activity, at least through early Tuesday morning, then we start to see our forecast dry out a bit on Wednesday. But even right now, we're still finding plenty of active, strong to severe storms, and as Futurecast was showing, around 7 to 8 o'clock this evening, there's your big cluster of storms just kind of congealing, embedded tornadoes possible within that, but just an unbelievable amount of lightning, really, with those storms. And so that's going to certainly be a hazard. You will definitely be hearing these storms come through your area, certainly in western Alabama, where we have that greatest potential for strong and severe storms this evening, where these storms are probably still going to be producing a tremendous amount of lightning, strong straight line winds, and maybe some embedded tornadoes as well. In fact, these storms are producing so much lightning, it's just kind of hard to see the actual storm structures as these continue to track off towards the east. Certainly still looking at that one very impressive cell, which still has, I believe, an active tornado warning.
It looks like, yeah, it looks
I think
like.
they redrew it a little bit.
Yeah, they did. Mobile is determined to keep that as a tornado warning, whereas that storm here in southern Dallas and also sections of it's going to be western Lowndes County. That's Birmingham showing that as a severe thunderstorm warning as it comes into their coverage area. So, and when you look at the reflectivity there, that's kind of how it looks like it plays out a little bit. But Mobile's still keeping that on the end of a tornado warning for us. Okay.
That's until 8 o'clock this evening now, so that'll go for another 13 minutes.
Yeah. All right. So we'll continue to track that one across the area as it moves off toward the north and east a bit. And we'll watch that closely with it moving through there. All right. So again, you folks there in the eastern half of it looks like northeastern Wilcox County. And did Birmingham extend that a little bit? Looks like over toward the west a little bit more and through Lowndes County, maybe.
You're talking about the severe thunderstorm warning
Severe
there?
thunderstorm warning, yeah. So that's going to include Braggs, and that's going to get up toward US 80 also as you head into Lowndes County here. So here's our cluster of a storm. Bottom line here, very heavy rain producer, a lot of lightning in there as well, and maybe some damaging winds, the potential for that also. Okay, and so that's kind of what we have set up there in southern Dallas County as well. All right, severe thunderstorm warning. Let's see. So with the exception of that one, as soon as that gets out of Wilcox County, that it'll be into a severe thunderstorm warning. We have other storms. Look at all that back there toward Demopolis and toward Butler. I mean, that is a tremendous amount of lightning that's occurring with those storms.
And we've still got that active severe, or rather tornado warning for the northern parts of Choctaw County as well. So that's something we're going to have to watch out for as well. Maybe some of those line-embedded tornadic circulations.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of scanning elsewhere. It looks like most of the activity in our east from Tallapoosa County. Haven't called out like Bullock and Macon County that much, but you folks got some storms there. They're producing lightning, but they haven't, doesn't look severe. It looks like going to make a lot of noise. Some heavy downpours there for you. And that'll be places like Tuskegee, also Shorter, impacted. And then Elmore County at the moment, looks like things kind of settled down, just moderate to heavy rain, kind of a messy night. And then here you go into Chilton County, some storms producing lightning. Coosa County, definitely a lot of noise ongoing here. We're taking the lightning on and off because it covers up the screen so much we can't see the reflectivity of the actual intensity of these storms. So we know they're creating lightning, so that's on there. But storms anywhere from Chilton County back through Perry and in toward, let's say, Marengo County and western Dallas County. So they're out there, very heavy rain producers, and so far it looks like we're kind of avoiding anything that's very intense. I mean, there's some circulation out there, but we're not talking about anything like the animal they had back in Mississippi. What was that, Friday night?
Yes, Friday nights. And I think
unbelievable.
What is it? Something Fork, that community, I think that tornado was rated an EF4 there, so a violent tornado. And certainly we hope nothing like that happens in our viewing area tonight. If there was any storm that was going to produce something like that, it probably would have been the discrete supercell that we are still tracking now in the extreme northeastern parts of Wilcox and now southern Dallas County. So it's going to be one of those individual discrete supercell thunderstorms we're going to have to keep a close eye on. Of course, we had one of those back on January 12th that tracked through Dallas County, and that ultimately produced in strong EF2 tornado there, and then went on to produce an 80-mile tornado track from Autauga to northwestern Elmore, southern Coosa, Tallapoosa, and Chambers County. And that tornado was rated an EF3, certainly for the northeastern parts of Autauga County near Marbury and the Posey's Crossroads communities, where that tornado produced some fatalities, I think due to some folks staying in a manufactured home. So that was a very intense tornado, but similar setup where it was a discrete supercell thunderstorm like this. So certainly in a weather setup like we've got today, we keep a close eye on the radar, as there are a lot of ingredients in the atmosphere favoring the potential for some stronger tornadoes this evening and even into overnight tonight.
All right, we don't have him on camera, but we do have him mic'd up. Kevin Raymer, you on there? Let's hear it.
Yes, I am.
There you are. Okay, so
I
we're
can hear
welcoming
him.
Kevin Raymer to our storm coverage as well. He grew up here, Prattville, right? Kevin?
Yeah, well, born and raised in Montgomery, grew up in Prattville, and traveled around the country doing TV weather for a few decades, and I'm back.
All right, good deal. Yep, that's right. I remember Kevin when back in the early days at the Weather Channel. So, Kevin, we'll put you in front of the key there at least. That way everybody can see.
Well,
we've had you,
since you have me up,
we've had you on the
air. Is there a way to punch up?
you can work that storm right there, so we'll let you.
oh,
With that,
I'll
there's
just-
Kevin, and we want to welcome him to our staff. He'll be helping us with severe weather and over on the weekends as well. So welcome aboard, Kevin.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, you can see those the cluster of thunderstorms coming out of west central Alabama, starting around the Meridian, Mississippi area, moving on up toward Butler and heading on up toward Demopolis. And again, that tornado warning off to the east of Camden there in Wilcox County. We'll keep a close eye on that as it continues to seem to hold together as it starts to approach areas just off to the southwest of the Montgomery, Alabama area. Still some pretty good thunderstorms around Clanton, Reeltown High School area up near Alex City. Some heavy thunderstorms went through there about 7:26. Now you see some storms up around the Alex City area right now as well, and a few thunderstorms around Auburn. Again, the potential is here for moderate risk of severe thunderstorms all night long tonight. Category 5 being the highest risk category. Category 1, of course, the lowest, and we're at a 4, a moderate risk. So we could possibly see some intense tornadoes. So again, as Shane was telling you, make sure you know where your safe place is and get into an interior hallway, lowest floor if you don't have a basement, if you're in the path of one of these intense thunderstorms or tornadoes. Shane, is it possible to switch over to my, I've got some hail tracks I'd like to show on Max 2, if we could do that.
Yeah, weuld get it for you. There you go.
Thank you so much. I tracked some of these hail tracks we've had tonight, and it's pretty impressive. Some of these hail tracks are quite long. Just off to the northwest of Auburn, a hail track 35 miles long. Another track of just hail reports 10 miles long near the Alex City area. And just south of Demopolis, there a 14-mile track, and over toward Camden, where the tornado warning's in effect, we're talking about a 27-mile stretch of hail being reported, and some of that hail on up toward north of Auburn, hen egg size, or egg size hail. So some pretty heavy hail there as well. We can go back to the radar again real quickly if you want, and can possibly zoom out a little bit, and we'll show you what's going on a little bit farther off to the north too. As we
Yeah, I'll jump on it, but
okay.
Ben may be able to work it. All right, so yeah, it's one of those nights where storms trending over the same area is going to be active for us, with these coming out of western Alabama and advancing eastward. So we're all here. We got it staffed. We got Rich as well. And the thing is you have a connection to Rich as well. We all kind of spent a tour of duty together at one point. And
Yeah,
so,
Rich Thomas and I worked together many years ago at a local station here, and it's good to be reunited. I just talked to him on the phone a couple of days ago. But again, these storms are moving off in an east-northeasterly direction, so we can expect more of this action over here, west central Mississippi, to push on up, possibly on up into Clanton and the Alex City area.
all right,
So
appreciate it, Kevin.
you wanna get back in there?
We'll go back at it. We've got, as we continue coverage here, and we'll get back up to speed here on what we've got. Still have active, looks like tornado warning that we continue for Wilcox County, but it looks like most of that storm has actually moved out of there. And that is mainly in through southern Dallas County. So when is the expiration on that, Ben?
That was 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. So we got 5 more minutes. They may just leave that in there unless they let that drop out. And it looks like we'll kind of continue that. All right. So that storm, at least what I would think would be the more intense, is now mainly in through Dallas County. And that is our one tornado warning, keeping us going here with the extended coverage. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings elsewhere. So once we get that to expire there, maybe we get a chance to take a little bit of a break here. We do still have intense storms working through our area, but typically we like to stay wall to wall when we have active tornado warnings. But if we don't have one active here, we may take a break here, recharge our batteries just a little bit, but just continue to monitor this off air. We do have that storm back in Choctaw County that we know that's going to be working in toward Marengo County shortly, but will it be tornadic when it works in there? So we'll kind of see how that plays out. All right. And so that's kind of the setup we have ongoing at the moment. And let's just go out wide, if we could, Ben, on that, on the reflectivity for us one more time and kind of set up the whole situation here. And the overall movement here, and really it's been training along this from Choctaw County through Marengo, Wilcox, and then points north and eastward. And that includes like Montgomery County, on through Elmore, Tallapoosa County. But really you folks from Greenville, southward of Monroeville, to Andalusia, to Brantley, to Troy, very quiet here. It looks like so far the boundary is kind of set up to be farther toward your north. And so that's where our risk is going to be for the stronger to severe storms as we head on through the next several hours. And now it looks like what we're getting here in West Alabama is more of a kind of a squall line here. And that's going to be bowing out a little bit. And so that'll be pushing some winds through. Demopolis, we're watching that off air. We've got our camera there looking into those storms. So I see a lot of lightning ongoing with that. But we may there's sometimes you can get an embedded spin-up tornado in there as well. So that may generally be a threat there for us. But if that's the setup here for us, we may see where this begins to push eastward. And then that will have more of a elongated impact for county-wide areas to have wind and rain coming through there. You got lightning turned off there, but let's see what lightning looks like on all that. It's probably lit up pretty well, I think, with a lot of the activity that's going on there with that. Yeah, there you go. So a tremendous amount of lightning. Power outages more than likely a concern there with this tonight. So don't be surprised if you lose power, because a lot of these storms are electrically charged, and that could be an issue. All right, so we'll take that off. That way we can see these things moving a little more. Still got any kind of circulation here with that one, Ben, that's coming up out of Wilcox County, a little bit up there.
Looks worse than it was while it was in Wilcox County.
Yeah, you had a pretty good circulation ongoing, and then it gets up in here, and then it just kind of opens up a little bit. So we're seeing that just in around Carlisle, and there's Gordonsville right here. So that's west of there and through Lowndes County. This is southeastern Dallas County, and so that continues to move off north and eastward. All right, so it's there, but I think that storm has pretty much moved out of Wilcox County, and that warning will, I guess, officially expire here in like 1 minute.
Within the next minute, yep.
Yeah, and so that will take out any active tornado warnings for us here very shortly. So I think with that being said, unless we see something that might be forthcoming with a warning there in West Alabama. And do you see anything there, Ben?
There is the active tornado warning still for Choctaw County.
Yeah.
That storm's kind of working eastward, so that might put it in the southern parts of Marengo County or northern Clark County, but no indication of an extension of that warning just yet.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. So we don't have any indication of that. And so they expired.
Tornado warning for Wilcox. So
okay. So that's good. All right. So what that says is we don't have any active tornado warnings right now for our coverage area. We do have one just to the west of us in Choctaw County, but the thing is the Weather Service going to issue one for Marengo County? But I will say southern Marengo County do have storms coming in there, a warm storm just to your west. You may get that, but what we want to do here is give you a heads up there that there is the potential that that storm could move into Marengo County here very shortly. And we'll see if they issue a tornado warning with that. And if they do, I think we'll come right back on. But I think what we want to do here is take a quick little break here, and we'll probably handle some other things, and then we'll come back if we need to. But we'll be tracking these storms, there's no doubt about that. But we will, we're going to take a break here for just a bit since we don't have an active warning within our coverage area. But we'll monitor the situation, and we'll be right back on air if we need to. But a heads up for you folks in southern Marengo County, storms to your west approaching. All right? Thanks for tuning in to us, and we'll keep you posted.